Noel, the reason I invited you is because a few weeks ago, let me tell you this story. I discovered LGBTQ plus and gender ideology lessons in my daughter's notebook. My daughter is studying in a Catholic school. The priest in the school don't know that this has been there in the subject for a long time. The principal is not aware that this is the most dangerous ideological colonization that Pope Francis has been referring to. The reason I brought this up is because I read your book and there are different culpabilities people have in this whole proliferation of woke ideology. And I love your analogy from the movie The Sixth Sense. And maybe you can add with that question, what is the Christian response to our brothers and sisters who are into this dangerous ideology, and what are the different roles the people
Yeah,
have? Yeah.
yeah, no, this analogy helps me. So there's the movie called The Sixth Sense. A lot of people
Mm,
were introduced to a mental illness called Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And in the movie, the boy, Haley Joel Osment's character, who is able to see dead people,
mhm,
he encounters a young girl his age who was poisoned by her mom, because her mom had this mental illness where she was posturing as though she were caretaking for her daughter, but she was inventing or exaggerating the daughter's illness. She
mm,
was, in some instances, causing the illness by injecting things into her food. And it's a really horrifying kind of illness because it's oftentimes the caretaker, particularly a mother. But there was a third person in the scene. There's the daughter who was the victim, the mother who was the perpetrator and unwell. And then there was her father who had no idea, couldn't believe that his wife could have such happen, could be so, acting so in
mm,
such horrifying ways as to harm their child. But he was, unwittingly aiding and abetting the demise of the daughter, be it in preparation for the food and encouraging the wife and bringing the food to his daughter, what have you. But he's not really culpable, right? Maybe there's
mhm,
some
mhm,
negligence or something. But so I think of this as the three ways in which people are distinctly kind of wrapped up in this movement. The daughter is an innocent victim.
mhm,
She's been given this poison ideology. And so this obviously is, young people who are given this stuff in schools and this propaganda and their shows and kind of start believing it.
mhm,
Then and she needs to be healed, right? She needs to be
mhm,
helped. Then there's a father who needs to be enlightened, right? He would have done anything to have been aware that this was so harmful, and he was good-willed, but he was
mhm,
aiding and abetting something bad. And then there's the mother,
mhm,
and maybe she'll be healed at some point later, but right now she just needs to be stopped
mhm,
because she's injecting the flow of poison. So I think that matches with what I see the approach to resisting the woke, that some people need to be accompanied, loved, befriended in order to help them heal from this stuff or to help them see it differently and be enlightened. But there are people who are who are injecting the poison into people in ways that just have to be stopped.
mhm,
And so I think that with schools, right? Doing this to kids. I don't know what your recourse is at your school, but
mhm.
we've had a real grassroots movement of parent to parental resistance.
Yeah.
Various or lesser levels of success. Some the schools they can be pretty intransigent.
Mhm,
Um, so it's a very difficult situation. My heart goes out to parents who are doing this, but I would be hyper involved of not making sure that my kids were not getting any of that taught
mhm,
to them.
mhm. If I take the analogy, I think the school of my daughter is more of the father who don't know that what they're teaching is this dangerous ideology. Real quick, the mother, what are the what uh bodies of or organizations could be like this mother? I'm thinking big pharma or the medical field right now who are into gender reassignment surgery.
Yeah,
Who
I definitely think big pharma. I think, I think that people who are there's a lot of really heavy-handed pushing of the ideology that's happening in K through 12 in America
mm,
now. Maybe less aligned to what you're saying, experiencing at your school, far more aggressive.
mm,
Um,
mm,
Bringing pornography, pornographic stories to children, exposing them to these types of things online. So that I think that would be more like the mother. I think, probably the public education establishment in America is more like the mother. They're so steeped in the ideology. They've really identified themselves as activists, not educators. Probably a lot of elements in Hollywood. But yeah, certainly doctors counseling transition, counselors counseling transition. These people need to be stopped.
Okay, Noelle. I said that's the last question, but this is the very last question. Why do we need to fight this culture war? Why is this important? Why can't we just retreat to our own bubble and just live and let live?
Yeah. Well, I think because this movement is such that it won't stop unless it's stopped. My friend Matt Peterson says that a lot, because it really has an insatiable desire to keep rupturing, destroying, blowing things up. And so it has to be opposed if it's not just gonna say, okay, we've progressed far enough, now we're good. No, I mean, we're at the point where, 10 years ago, it was unimaginable that they would be sexually mutilating the genitals of children. So what's going to be happening in 10 years from now? We have to put a stop to this. But also because, I assume your audience is largely Catholic.
Yeah.
Catholic Church has, said without any qualification that there is no reconciling of socialism, communism with being a Catholic, because they're fundamentally atheistic and demonic. So that isn't to say that every person in this movement is sold to the devil. I don't mean that by any means. And that sixth sense analogy come into play here. But we are alive at this particular time to serve God and to serve one another. And so it's really not a Catholic option, I don't think, to retreat to our own lives, to not pay attention to the chaos that's happening, that's really harming people. I think the Catholic Church has always been very proactive at establishing hospitals, orphanages, ways to help communities, ways to build people up. And I think this is of a piece of that, because these are fundamental lies that are really poisoning people, and we want people to be happy and to live good, flourishing lives. So we have a positive vision to give people. Their vision is one of destruction, grievance, accusation. The Catholic Church's vision is one of the cathedral, right? It's beautiful. Yes. It doesn't mean every person's perfect, but it's the family, it's friendship, it's service, it's harmony, it's peace, deep peace of the Holy Spirit. It's great joy. So these are positive visions, and we'd be remiss to sit on the sidelines when we have that to offer people.
Hi, this is Jay Aruga of the Jay Aruga Show. If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing and smash that like button. We'll need all of your help to take back the culture from this ideological colonization of the West. Thank you.